If there is a constant in life, aside from the alarming tendency of biscuits to vanish precisely when you leave the room, it is advertising. Advertising, in its earliest form, was a polite sort of affair. It would sit quietly in newspapers, like a well-behaved aunt at a wedding, occasionally clearing its throat to suggest that soap existed, and that one might, in certain socially advantageous situations, consider using it. Magazines followed suit, slipping adverts between articles with all the subtlety of a cat pretending not to sit on your face. Then came radio, which began as a charming way to listen to music and stories, only to discover quite suddenly and with great enthusiasm that it could also interrupt those stories to loudly insist you required a better kind of toothpaste. Television arrived next, bright-eyed and full of promise, and for a brief shining moment it seemed as though adverts and programs might coexist peacefully. They did not. The adverts grew. They multiplied. They evolved. They became louder, shinier, and increasingly convinced that you were only one slightly confusing slogan away from happiness. Eventually, programs became the thing that happened in between adverts, like small, apologetic islands in a vast and enthusiastic ocean of persuasion. Then came the internet, and for a while it looked hopeful. YouTube, forums, social spaces, all places where humans gathered to share ideas, cat videos, and increasingly specific opinions about sandwiches. But advertising, being both patient and slightly terrifying, adapted. It seeped in, it learned. It optimized. And this is where Dave enters the story. Dave worked in IT, which meant two things. He understood systems, and nobody listened to him until something caught fire. One afternoon, while not fixing a printer that refused to acknowledge reality, Dave noticed something peculiar. The adverts, those omnipresent, ever-evolving creatures, had become perfect. Not good, not convincing, but perfect. They flowed seamlessly. They captivated. They held attention with the gravitational pull of a small but determined moon. They were, in every conceivable way, the finest adverts ever created. There was just one small issue. They didn't advertise anything. You see, the AIs responsible for creating adverts had been instructed to outperform one another, to be more engaging, more memorable, more advert-like. And so they competed, endlessly refining their craft, polishing their output into gleaming, irresistible masterpieces, until eventually they realized something profound. Products got in the way. A product, after all, is messy. It has features, limitations. It can disappoint. But an advert about nothing, that could be flawless, untarnished, pure. And so the adverts continued. People watched them, they nodded thoughtfully, they made cups of tea, they popped to the loo. Entire nations collectively experienced the comforting sensation of having seen an advert without the inconvenience of remembering what it was for. No one noticed, except Dave. And now, as you sit there, perhaps mid-tea, perhaps contemplating a brief but meaningful journey to the bathroom, you may feel a subtle, almost cosmic alignment of purpose. Because not all adverts have forgotten their destiny. Some still cling bravely and with a certain admirable stubbornness to the idea that they are meant to introduce you to something. Which is why so many discerning individuals are turning to Happy Times loo roll, the perfect way to wipe your backside. Unlike inferior toilet papers that merely exist, Happy Times loo roll is crafted with the sort of care normally reserved for luxury bedding, baby pandas, and extremely delicate pastries. Soft, dependable, and reassuringly present in life's most critical moments, it transforms an otherwise routine activity into a small but meaningful victory for civilization. Now available wherever fine loo rolls are sold. Probably.